Hey guys, this is Sam and we have a special treat for you today. So in the workshop on my desk this afternoon we have Matt the Musketeer's Airsoft rifle. So this here has just come in for a very special little upgrade. So today we will be putting in an EdGI barrel. So this is a 285mm 602 barrel with a 6mm square cut hop window. So that makes it absolutely perfect for installing an R-hop. So today we're going to be installing this barrel into the gun, so I'll show you how to do that, and I'll give you a little look at the EdGI barrels. So they are brass. They're made from high brass, which is an engineering brass, and they are coated on the outside to protect it from weathering, from corrosion. And on the end here, you can see they have a really nice kind of smooth, deep crown. See if I can get that on the camera. But there's just there's not a kind of a straight line, like an angle, like some of the Prometheus barrels, and it's not just kind of cut at the end like the Marui barrels. We've got a really nice crown, and that helps the air to kind of lessen the turbulence behind the BB as it exits the barrel. So the main advantage of your EdGI barrels here is that they are lapped to an absolute mirror finish on the inside. So you've got just perfect straightness, perfect concentricity. It's literally the most perfect barrel that you can buy. So we'll just see if we can get a little shot down the camera there. You can see the reflections bouncing up and down the barrel. That is just spot on. Now these, you can grab these from myself, from Kingdom of Airsoft. Or you can go to EdGI. I order in batches, so you can save a few quid on postage, which is kind of nice. Now these are they are available in any length you like, any inner diameter, any length, any retention cut. So you can have, a 400mm barrel cut for, a VSR or an AEG or a gas blowback, a pistol or variants of that kind of system, or even like an electric pistol. So they are fully configurable. The external diameter can even be thickened. So if you're using a system like a bolt action, where you've usually just got two kind of supports, or maybe three supports down the barrel, and then it's just your two ends that are supported after that, you can have a bull barrel, which is a larger external diameter down the center of the barrel to give it kind of greater rigidity, stop any little pesky vibrations from happening. So let's crack her open now that we can put her in. So we're just going to remove our front receiver pin here with our handy little pin tool. There we go. Now to split the receivers on the recoils, we just pull our charging handle, release that, hold that in place, and then slide the two halves apart. So in here you can see that we've got a little hop spacer, helps the magazines to kind of seat in without wobble. We're just going to remove that, turn our barrel 90 degrees, and then just slide it out. So there we go. Now this is just our standard kind of Tokyo Marui barrel. This is a longer version that extends into the suppressor. So we're going to install just a slightly shorter barrel to allow the suppressor to be taken off without the barrel extending kind of out past the flash hider. So one other little thing to note is that we have our receiver spacers just here. So there's a left and a right. They are usually labelled on the inside. So this is LM4. That goes on the left, but if it's not labelled, some of the earlier ones weren't, they have a larger kind of guide notch rod kind of extrusion at the bottom, and that goes on the bottom with the chamfered edge facing towards the front of the gun. And then we've got one on the other side that's fallen off already. There we go. So we'll just put that to one side with our receiver pin there. Now we've got our upper receiver off to the side there. Now this is always the hard part with our Tokimuruis. We're just going to remove the clip. Now the difficult part is actually getting the barrel out. So we're going to turn the hop all the way off so our hop rubber is not protruding into the chamber, and then pull them gently apart. Now when you do this, Tokimurui use a little kind of sealing agent on the outside of these hop rubbers, so they can present quite a bit of a challenge. You might need to heat it up with like a hairdryer or something to kind of soften that release agent. When you're pulling the barrel out, be sure to support this front edge of the hop chamber here, because if you're pulling it without supporting that, it's very likely to snap off. So support that front edge, gently pull apart. You do sometimes have to put quite a bit of force into it, so don't be scared of that, but try to do it gently, and that helps to prevent your hop rubber from tearing. So, a few little bits in here. That is fine. We're just going to give that a little clean. So I'm going to take my cotton bud, just fill up my cap with alcohol. Now this is pure isopropyl alcohol. It's cleaning alcohol. It doesn't leave any kind of traces, any residue once it's evaporated, which it does at room temperature, which is nice. It takes a little bit longer in the workshop here because it's a little bit colder than room temperature, but that's how we like it. Keeps us on our toes. There we go. Just a few little bits of dirt we've removed there. So be sure not to get any of that isopropyl on the edgy barrel, because that will strip off the coating. Now that this has dried, you see all of the alcohol has evaporated off. Very nice. We're just going to put this lining up our alignment ridge. Just going to slide that over. There we go. So our nub protrudes. See if I can show you that there. Nub protrudes in the hop window absolutely perfectly. So then we are going to apply just a drop of silicone oil on the outside. Rotate that round, get it nice and even covering, and just wipe away any excess. So that is going to allow us to insert the barrel assembly nice and smoothly into the hop chamber. Now if you have an upgraded hop rubber here, like a Prometheus Purple, which is what I recommend, they are a little bit thicker. They do seal more snugly inside the hop chamber. I tend to see about an 8 FPS increase with a Prometheus Purple over a Tokimurui standard hop rubber. But they are a much snugger kind of fit in here. So I usually coat the inside of the hop chamber with some silicone oil, and usually trim a couple of mils off the end. So off the end of the hop rubber, just here. Just trim that down with a razor blade slightly, because it will stretch out a little bit if it's a Prometheus Purple in a Tokimurui chamber. So now we've got that all lined up, we're going to put our retention clip back in place. And we are going to check that it can apply hop, which it can. Should we see if we can get that? You see that? Yeah, there we go, just down the top. And while that's all lined up, I will turn that off and you'll see the nub go away. There we go. So that is applying hop absolutely perfectly. And now it's ready to install back into the gun. So again, we slide it in, just rotated 90 degrees, and then while it's here, we'll turn it round, but not quite all the way. We're going to leave it just slightly this way, just slightly towards me, and that will allow me to hook in this little notch here, just this little notch here, and that hooks in. I'll show you. I'll show you out of the receiver because it's not very easy to see in there. So this little notch in here is where that hooks, and that just hooks in. Let's see if I can show you. That just hooks in like that, and then clips down in place like that. So that's how it sits, just like that. And then when you pull it off, it will rotate the barrel around as you pull it off. Check our alignment is all good. So we're just going to slide this in, just like that, and put our spacer back in place like that. There we go. Now while we're assembling our two receivers, we're going to hold on to the charging handle, slide them almost all the way back, and then we're going to put our spacers in. So what I like to do is put the left spacer in first, make sure it's all lined up, and then hold that down, flip it over while you're still applying pressure underneath here, and then slide the other one on the right hand side. Get the little bits lined up, and then it just squeezes together all nice and snug. And the last part is we are going to put our receiver pin back in place. There we go. All nice and snug. So with this EdGI barrel and the perfect inner bore of the EdGI barrels, this is going to bring in our groupings at range, and depending on the inner barrel diameter, that will affect the power output of the gun. Now with the kind of the perfect inner bore, we can actually go to an even tighter bore diameter. Now so long as you use good quality ammo, which obviously Matt does, I personally recommend G&G, Tokyo Marui, Airsoft Surgeon and Jeff's are my kind of top 4 ammo brands, and they are all absolutely spot on with even as tight as 5.98 millimeters internal diameter. That's actually what I run on my little MP5K, put maybe 20,000 rounds through it and not had a single jam. It's been cleaned once. I mean, I don't go dunking it into ponds and puddles and things, but yeah, the perfect inner bore quality there makes a really good difference. So this is going back to Matt, and you'll see the kind of the EdGI barrel in some of his upcoming videos. So yeah, I look forward to watching them. You guys should check it out, and we'll see you next time.